What is up? What's good? I hope that everybody's doing well. This is Dr. Fairming Teray Jr., Doctor of Physical Therapy, hoop enthusiast, and wanting to help the basketball community get better, play more, play better, enjoy the game, and not be brittle due to injury or lack of confidence or not being able to do the things that they love to do, the things they normally do on the court. So, this is meant to be like just using what I see and like experience from work, watching film, analyzing the game, analyzing movement, and just trying to put it all together to give people um, the best cheat code, I guess you could say, or the blueprint to being the best basketball player that you can be and take it as far as you want to take it and give you the resources that you need to, excel from, a physical therapy standpoint, moving better, moving effortlessly, not thinking about the game, not thinking about your decisions, and being able to just react and play and do what you do. So I'm gonna take you guys back because I think I have a interesting story that I think will relate to a lot of people, especially if you're going through an injury. And it's a personal story for me. It's something that I just went through. And I think you guys will find it valuable as well. So I'm gonna take it back to we have to go back to April 2023, because that's when I decided April to 2023. And that's when I decided I was moving to California. I took a new job, got a new opportunity, and I put my notice in to my job, my current job in Alaska. So I was done there middle of April, and I started like I had 5, 6 weeks ish of just getting myself in shape, preparing for the move, staying active, playing as much basketball as I could because I had more time now. So I was playing a lot with my boy Chevy. Or we just pull up to runs and we just hoop all the time, train 6 a.m. sometimes, just get the work in. I had a lot more time, so I was more willing to wake up early in the morning and get after it. So I was feeling pretty good, right? I was in pretty good shape, playing a lot, feeling like things where I was understanding, myself, what I could do and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and trying to just make sure that I was honing in on those things, but also working on the things that I'm not good at. So I had a lot of time to get in the lab and tinker a little bit. So I did. I did. I used all that time to tinker, build my strength, understand different combos, and trying to be less predictable because a lot of people have patterns, and if I can go off script or go off pattern, that just makes me harder to guard. So trying to just get better at that. And then like on defense, understanding angles and getting in passing lanes and when to help and when not to help and how to hold my own in the post. So there's a lot of things I was tinkering with, just trying to work on being more versatile with what I got. So I was feeling pretty good. The 6 week period, we're training, we're doing our thing. I moved May 31st, so from Alaska to California. I started work June 1 of my new job. So it was kind of a quick turnaround, right? One of my new coworkers, he's pretty active too. And he was in a basketball league with some of his boys, and he wasn't gonna be able to make the game that day. I think it was a June 1st, so it was like a Thursday. They had a game that Thursday, and he asked me if I wanted to play because he wasn't gonna be there. I said, sure. I've been in good shape. I was playing a lot. I was feeling good. But it's a good it's a new team. I don't know anybody. I just moved to a new place, but the gym happened to be over my house, so I left early to just go scope it out, try and figure out who the guys were. And I use this time like to introduce myself. I also just sit and watch them while I'm like warming up, getting ready. I'm watching how people are interacting. I'm watching how close the dudes are, how they shoot, how they dribble, how they prepare, how they get themselves ready, just so I can have an idea of what I'm working with. And for me, I like go through my routine. I think it's important to watch what your teammates are doing and where they might like the ball and where they might feel comfortable getting their shots and what is going to put them in the best position to succeed. So I look at all that kind of stuff when I'm, getting ready, scoping out competition. And I'm also watching the other team, like who am I probably going to guard? What do they like to do? What are they good at? And can I glean some things from the warm up pre layup lines? So as I'm doing that, I'm paying attention to all that, right? And for me, if I'm in a new situation, I don't really mind coming off the bench and just kind of getting a feel for the game, how my guys like to run, or how the other team's playing, what they're doing well, what they're not doing well, and just trying to figure out matchups. Like, all right, when I go in, who am I going to match up with? Where can I, put my imprint on the game? Because I know what I'm good at. I know I can have a good first step. I can shoot the rock. I can get by people. I can guard and like be annoying on defense. So I understand that. I can talk and communicate. So as the game's going on, I'm getting a feel for all this, right? So we're playing, and the gym is hot. Like this is June. The gym is hot. I wasn't prepared for that. And I think that played a part into later on when the things are going. But as we're going, I'm in warm-ups as we're warm-ups, getting shots up, getting used to the rims and all that stuff. The dude see I can shoot. The dude see I can, put the ball in the basket, and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, so I go, I start the game on the bench, get watching a little bit, and just seeing how the game is flowing. And it's close. The whole early in the game, nip and tug. This is early in their season too, so they only played one game before, so they were trying to get used to each other as teammates, and so I'm scoping it out. I think I go like 5, 6 minutes before I go in and get a feel for it, and take a couple shots. It takes a while to you got those pregame jitters a little bit, and you're in a new environment. And you're not trying to mess up, but you're also trying to just be yourself and play your game, right? Like that's what I'm not here to try and impress anybody, but I know what I'm capable of, and I just try to stick to be true to myself and then play my game. And as the game gets going, start to get a rhythm, start to get the flow, start to understand, all right, like this dude likes the ball in the left corner to shoot shots. So I'm gonna pass to him on the left corner, get him his looks. He likes to shoot, so I'm gonna make sure he gets his looks. Other dude likes the ball on the right block, so I'm gonna make sure I give him a catchable pass on the right block and let him do his thing. I like to, I can handle the ball. I can run off screens. I can do whatever you need on offense. It's just whatever the team needs at that point. So we're going through the game. We're getting the flow, getting good. Halftime comes around. I think we're down by like a couple points. We had a good lead to build it up, and then halftime comes and we're down. So second half comes around. I'm like, all right, we got the flow. I think we were understanding who plays well together. It happened pretty quick too, which is kind of cool. Who plays well together and what the other team is doing and how we're gonna adjust. So play most of the second half, feeling pretty good, starting to get my feet under me. I just come off a plane 24 hours ago. You know what I mean? So that kind of setting is coming back in. I don't have any groceries in my house, right? So fuel is not really where it needed to be, I guess, that day. And it's hot in the gym, like I mentioned earlier. And when I'm in hot gyms or hot places, like I just tend to fatigue faster. And I think that played a part in this. So there's 3 minutes left. We're down by a couple. Like we made a good run. I think we're probably up by this point. Made a good run. The dude on the other team throws a pass to the guy down the court, and I know it's coming. So I like accelerate real quick. I jump up, intercept the pass. I come down, and I've done this millions of times. Like you try and time it, you land, and then you're off to the races and go. For some reason this time, the guy who was catching the pass didn't touch me or anything, but I don't think he touched me, but I catch it and I just land on my left leg, knee straight, and I just immediately like drop to the ground. And it was so weird because I'm like, this should not have happened. Like, and the regular, I do this a million times, and it just happened to be the one time that like I hurt myself. And I'm feeling it. I knew it was something serious real quick, but I think the adrenaline of the game was still going, and I should know better. Like, you don't, it was close, and I didn't want to lose. I wanted to make a good impression. So we called a timeout, I think, and allowed me to like kind of get to the bench, assess things, and see if I could walk. I could not walk. I was like limping, but I didn't want the other team to know that. So now I had 3 minutes to try and disguise what I'm doing and just try and get to the end of the game. Probably not the best idea because I was not 100%. And as you start to get tired, your movement patterns change. Fatigue, you're not thinking it clearly. Like, more things can happen that can go wrong. And in that case, I think that's what happened. I got tired. A lot of traveling in the last 24 hours, not fueled the best, not hydrated the best. And it all kind of caught up with me at that point, unfortunately. But the game is coming to an end. We're down one with like 10 seconds left. I get the ball and I turn it over. I remember I turned it over. I was mad as I almost turned it. I threw a pass in because I was trying to like, get a quick hitter from one of my bigs, and the ball got got tipped and it got brought back out to me. And I was like, I got it back. And I was like, all right, I'm not passing this anymore. So I go and drive, and the dude slides over to try and take a charge. I put up a floater. I miss it, but the ref called a blocking foul with 1 second left. So we're down one. I got 2 free throws. My knee's hurting, but I was like, yo, we got to win this game because I put too much into this. Now we put too much into this now to, go home with an L. And I'm trying to make a good first impression. So hit both free throws. Felt really good about taking them. I kind of smiled because I was like, yeah, we got this in the bag. So now they call timeout. They advance it. They got 1 second left. They drop a play to try and catch a lob to the rim from the inbounds from the half court. We break that up. Game's over. Feels great. But my heel and my knee are killing me. Right. It's hard to walk. I couldn't walk properly. I couldn't really put weight through, and I knew it was something bad. Never really experienced anything like that, but I knew it was bad. My first thought was like maybe I like hurt my PCL, hurt my meniscus just because of the way it landed, like landing straight and then having my knee kind of like hyperextend a little bit. I was like, I probably might have put some stress on the PCL, or maybe I didn't think it was an Achilles. I didn't think it was an ACL. I didn't think it was an Achilles because my heel was hurting, but I knew I was like, yo, my knee should hurt because it was my heel. My heel was killing me. Just putting pressure on it. So I didn't have a car yet, right? So I got a ride from one of my teammates because I live really close, which was very nice. I get back home. I don't have any food. It's late. And I was like, I knew I should probably like not rest this thing and try and move it as much as I can to try and help with blood flow, circulation, and just not letting it get stiffened up on me. So I thinking that, let me keep this moving, that I'm gonna walk probably like 15 minutes to like Chipotle or something and go get Chipotle. Dying. Like it hurt so bad to walk. And I was like, this is not good. And I still had to go to work the next day. I'm getting at this time, I'm getting ready for my wedding. This upcoming weekend. This is Thursday. My wedding's on Sunday. And I was like, crap. Like, am I gonna be able to walk? And I told my wife, my now wife, at that time, I was like, look, I hurt myself pretty bad. Walking is pretty not really good right now. So I know we're probably gonna be doing a lot of dancing, and if I'm having to walk around a lot and dance, I'm probably not doing too much right now because I'm really struggling, and I know I gotta, you know, this is a once in a lifetime thing, and you gotta suck it up and get it done. So I powered through it. It was not great, but so it's my wedding. I'm not gonna do it again. So gotta make the most of the situation. But so I'm hurt, but I knew it wasn't anything like career altering, but I knew it was like, yeah, I gotta be a little careful. So we had a game the next week. But I wasn't all the way back. Like I was at work limping. I was at wedding limping. Coming back on the airplane limping. Like over the week it got better. Come again Thursday, I'm trying to do what I can recovery wise, trying to strength train what I can, trying to ice and mobilize as I can and just keep it moving. And I had my boss look at it, I had my coworkers look at it. They didn't think I damaged it crazy, just seemed like a little swollen, maybe a bone bruise. So I was like, all right, I just gotta adjust how I plan. Again, probably looking back, I probably should have just taken the time off. I didn't need to prove anything to anybody, but I did also just wanted to play. Like I found a place where I could play pretty quick. I didn't have to do too much. So I was like, I know I can play with y'all. Like I'm ready for this. So I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. So then second game comes and I take a longer time warming up, making sure that everything's ready, and I feel good. Like sometimes when you like are injured or something, it takes a little bit for you to warm up. It may take a little longer, but once you get going, and you're like, don't sub me out, like, because I'm hot. And if I get cold and this thing like sevens up on me, then it's a wrap because it's gonna take forever um to like warm back up again. And I was like, just keep me going. I'm not gonna sub. So I gut it out. I try and play. But then halftime comes around. I relay sub, try and, stay warm, but it's just tough. It's just starting to build. Like I'd be trying to do things that I normally do and I couldn't do it. Like push off my left leg and try and get to the rim, or, try and do a step back. And I just couldn't, I didn't trust it. And I didn't want to make it worse. And I didn't want to have something else happen. If I'm compensating at my foot, then that makes me sort of more susceptible to like something happen at the knee or something happen at the hip. And I didn't want that. So I had to adjust. I came off the ball a lot more as over the coming weeks, trying to just save my energy and not really, I was going off 2 feet for everything. I'm not really doing one leg finishes. If I'm on the right side, I'm not really going off that left foot to push off because I didn't trust it to take off. I didn't trust it to land. But it get to the point where at the end of the games, I just got like, it started to hurt too much and I was compensating a lot. And I was like, this is not, I can't protect myself. I'm not safe. So towards the end of the games, I would just sub myself out. We're getting blown out anyway. So I didn't see the point of trying to, bully, like not bully, but like just keep pushing the course. I was like, I gotta get myself healthy for next week. And was I helping myself by playing on games knowing I'm not healthy and probably should take in a couple weeks just to get myself fully healthy and then come back? But I didn't want to take anything for granted. I didn't know if if I'm hurt, then like do they get somebody else to come replace me? And I didn't want that. So kind of stubbornness on my part, but I knew what I could do and I knew what I couldn't do. And I kind of confined myself and adjusted my game based on that. So then, the season comes to an end and I really just took the time off to just like train to, just try and get myself stronger. So I don't think I played, I was training a lot, but I wasn't like playing basketball at all. Until probably like that ended in August. I didn't go again until like October and go play. I went to that same gym. They got open gyms on Saturday. So I was like, I haven't played in a while. Let me see where I'm at. And I go and I have a good time. Same thing, like I'm scoping people out, seeing how they play, seeing what I gotta do. And it's one thing to train, like to train by yourself and just work on general strength, but nothing ever compares to the game. And I think that's something that looking back, I should have been better prepared for. I did a lot of like training in different planes and scaling my workouts, scaling my jumps, scaling my sprints and feeling good about them, but nothing compares to the reaction of having to think of a move on a quick second, react to someone cutting you off one way and then having to go the other way. Nothing prepares you for that. And I underestimated it. I thought I was good, but I hadn't been doing any basketball specific things. I've just been like training. And we start playing and we're winning a lot. So I was there, I got there at like 12. I was done at like 3:30. And my knee occasionally would like start bugging, right? Like start bugging. It hurt a lot. It hurt a little bit throughout the middle of the thing, but then if I kept going, then it would kind of just work itself through. But I was like, this is not right. I don't feel like I'm myself. I don't feel like I'm moving the right way, the way that I normally move. And then so after we were done, I started walking back home, and then my calf, that left side calf, started killing me. Felt like a Charlie horse, or like it just hurt to walk. And I was like, oh, here we go again. First it was the heel, then it was the knee, now it's the calf. So I'll take care of the calf. Calf feels good. Then we have a couple weeks later, we have a team lift. And I had noticed that when I tried to squat, like get depth on squats, it just like it hurt. It hurt a lot, like in the back of the knee. And I was like, what is going on? Like that's not something I expect with like a calf kind of strain. So I was like, what is going on? But so I kept tabs on it, just trying to work within the ranges. But then we had a team lift a couple weeks later, and I squatted for the first time like deep, and it felt great. Like it felt like, oh, I can push through this. But I'm going through it more, like it's feeling better. And I was like, yeah, like we're straight, or we're on the right path. Like what I'm doing is on the right path. And then the next day, first time I noticed that, and I don't know if I was like, my knee was like swollen. It was huge. And I was like, this is not normal. I asked my wife, she's not physical therapist, or like she's in the medical field, but not like seeing like orthopedic stuff like that. And I was like, yo, look at my two knees and tell me what you see. And she was like, yeah, that left one is swollen. She said it pretty immediately too. And I was like, oh yeah, so I'm not tripping. Like this thing is really swelled up. It was really swelled up. So then I started that same approach as when I first heard it. I think when I first injured it, that June 1 day, like it never truly healed. And I was avoiding it. And once I started playing on it longer and kind of just fighting through it, and all those adaptations, compensations that I made, it got me through, but it didn't solve the problem. So now it was manifesting itself as I had played for, I didn't get hit or anything, no falls or anything like that. I think it was manifesting itself as I hadn't trained for being able to play that long. I hadn't trained for, actually, I had just started, squatting to depth and feeling good about it. I hadn't trained to prepare myself for the demands of the task. And I thought I had, but I had to go back and look like, man, obviously you weren't ready because you wouldn't have swelled up like this, or it wouldn't have been as the calf strain probably might not have happened if you had trained all your systems and been ready aerobically, for the fast switch movement, for the have the strength to the landings and the absorptions and the push offs. Like if I were, where I was supposed to be, I should have tested it better. And that's another thing that I'm feel like I needed to looking back, I needed to learn on, is like I needed to have some semblance of being on a basketball court, whether it's outside dribbling or trying different cuts, changing directions, like going through movements that I might see in the game, going to crazy stuff I might not do in the game, but I'm just making sure I could do it and I respond well the next day, 48 hours after, to gauge my readiness, to gauge where I'm at, to see where I'm at, and make sure that, I'm, where I think I am. Because ultimately, like my rehab needed to be harder than what I was going to experience in the game. Because if it's harder in practice or harder in rehab, then when the game comes, it's going to be easy because I've already prepared my body for it. I've already prepared my mind for it to be ready to go. So now that was a couple weeks ago. So now I'm on like, all right, before I go try and play again, I need to go dribble a basketball by myself in a closed environment where there's not a lot of variables that can kind of alter my play, and slowly start to build out like basketball specific things while in conjunction with the strength and the speed, and making sure that I'm slowly progressing and making sure that I feel comfortable with each stage of it. So making sure that strength, one, I have it. Two, that strength can translate to speed, that start stop that needs to happen, that happens all the time in basketball. And then three, making sure that my endurance and my cardio is where it needs to be able to withstand longer jump contacts, or jumping for a long time, continuous jumps, going up and down for 2-3 hours. Like I need to make sure that I'm physically and mentally ready for that. And I think that's something that a lot of people tend to as an underestimate. It's what I see a lot, and having gone through it myself, like it makes sense. Like you think what you're doing is good for is good for is good for it's going to prepare you for the game, when the game is a whole different beast. And if you can make your training environment, your environment more, sort of predictable, and what you're going to do, to unpredictable, having live action, 1-on-1, 1-on-2, 3-on-3, 3-on-4, 5-on-5, and just scaling that for increasing more chaos and more variability, then, and you're reacting well to it, then you're like, all right, when I get in the game, I've already trained all these different positions and trained all these different situations. Like I've seen a lot of it, and I've been watching more basketball, and um, by the time you get to the game, it should be like, all right, and like I feel good. I don't gotta think about what I'm doing. I'm just gonna react based on the person in front of me, and keep it, and return to sport that way. So to summarize, that's what I thought it was a valuable lesson for me because it's something that I'm going through right now. And as a healthcare provider, I think it's important to think about like um, just making sure that when I put somebody through something or I'm going through something myself, I have to structure things. I have to, think about what's happening early on. How did the injury happen? What could have led up to this? And for me, it was potentially fatigue, being in a hot environment, um, you know, just not being able to, react as quickly because of the fatigue. So I should have one just, you know, taken a closer look at how that happened. I'm very grateful that nothing worse had happened. Number two, optimizing the recovery, not trying to push through just to um, not disappoint your teammates or disappoint your coaches, but just trying to, make sure that I make the best decision for me. If I can go, I'm gonna go. But if I go and I'm hurting my team or I'm making, I'm putting myself in danger and could potentially send me back further, then that's not good. I'm no use to my guys, my team if I on the bench not available. And so then number three, looking back, taking care of the nutrition, the recovery, the sleep, the stress management. I think a lot of that, moving to a new place, starting a new job, um, not really knowing anybody, missing my friends, missing my family. There's a lot of new stressors. It was good, like I needed to do it, but a lot of new stressors that came into play and being able to manage that. Number four, with the recovery and the early movement, I think it's just listening to your body, right? Like kind of like what I mentioned in number two, it's about listening to your body, knowing what you can and can't do, and honing in on what you can do and slowly exposing yourself to the things that you can't do, and making sure that you're not putting yourself in more danger. Um, and then number five is just, having the going from predictable to unpredictable and making sure that the practices or when you're training by yourself and building your strength or you're on the court, making sure that you're simulating some kind of return to the court. And then two, just making the game, the practice is harder than the game. So when you do get to the games, you're not thinking, you're just reacting. So going from predictable to unpredictable, from more controlled thing to more chaos, to just make sure that you're ready physically and mentally to be your best. So that was my story time, something that I think will hopefully that you guys found value in. I think it's I thought it was a good story for me because I learned a lot from that experience, or I am learning a lot from that experience. And I can go in and change my framework a little bit and adjust it to account for those experiences that I went through. And I think, I have like the tools. I know what I need to do, and I know, how to progress and regress things to make sure that I'm physically ready for what is coming at me. And I think, throughout that experience, I got to refine that tool, that framework a little bit, and it's something that can be adapted to a lot of different individuals, no matter where you're at in your journey of the game. Um, so yeah, I appreciate y'all taking the time. I thought you guys would find some value in that story, and I think it's a lesson that we all can learn from. So hope you guys found it helpful, and we'll talk on the next one. Peace.